Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Sports live commentary of your stream, of your match tonight. Our first MLS match of the brand new 2024 season, where of course it all started just a few nights ago in Miami, where Inter Miami kicked off their campaign with a win against Real Salt Lake. They won by 2-0, which of course had you could say, the old faces of Barcelona's great generation from 10 years ago of Lionel Messi, Jordi Alba, Luis Suarez making his debut in the MLS, and also Sergio Busquets. So really the old band are back together, and they're showing why straight away in that opening game why Inter Miami could be the favourites to win the MLS Cup for the very first time come the end of this year. So anyway, but there's plenty of football to go until we reach the MLS Cup and the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference playoffs. We've got a lot of football before that. We've got our regular season that has started this week, and our first commentary of the season on Let's Talk Sport is Los Angeles Football Club against Seattle Sounders, coming to you from the BMO Stadium, which of course is a stadium that is in Los Angeles that not only hosts LAFC games but also Angel City FC. So anyway, we are getting ready for the kickoff, and we do have our lineups for two teams today. So it is a MLS and club debut for the goalkeeper of LAFC, of Hugo Lloris, after he joined in January, a free transfer from Tottenham Hotspur. Hugo Lloris then hasn't really been playing much football in the last 12 months since the 2022 Qatar World Cup. Is in the starting lineup, and he has a four-man defence from left to right. We got Campos on the left back role, Long in centre half role with Morello, and then Hollingshead, the US international, as right back. And we got, it looks as though a 4-3-3 formation, so three in midfield. From left to right, it's Bogusz, Sanchez, and Tillman, with another front three, this time of Baranga, who was the MLS top scorer last season, and Angel at the front, and then we have Oliveira as right wing. The starting lineup for Seattle Sounders, our visitors today, a 4-2-3-1 formation. It looks like Stefan Fry is in goal, the man from Switzerland. Four in defence from Roldan at right back, Andrade centre half along with Reagan, and Bell playing the left back area. Two in front of the defensive midfielders, that is of Ventencio and Paulo. Three in midfield, in behind the forward of Morris is Rosnak in the centre, Roldan on the right hand side, and Leo Chu playing on the left wing. And then we'll quickly just go through the bench at the moment, which is LAFC, Seguero, Palencia, Dunas, Gutierrez, Romero, Ordaz, Martinez, Mustu, and Rosales. And the bench for Seattle Sounders is Arriga, De La Vega, Rough Bell, Wazowski, Castro, Baker, Lever, and Tevez. So we're just getting ready for the start of the game. If you haven't yet, do get in touch on a live chat page. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, vote on our poll on who you think is going to win the game tonight. Actually, we just asked on your poll who you think will win the opening match of 2024. And at the moment, the favourites are tonight to be LAFC. 60% of you have gone for them, the 2022 MLS Cup winners. 20% of you going for a draw. And Seattle Sounders, 20% as well going for the team in green. But yes, of course, we did our very last MLS coverage on Let's Talk Sport, which we were hoping to have done some last year, but we never got round to it. But hopefully we'll provide a lot more. We've provided already more this year than we did last year, because our last one was the MLS Cup final of 2022, which was at the BMO Stadium where our match is tonight. And we saw LAFC winning on penalties to win their first ever MLS Cup since the club was founded in 2014. So obviously LAFC and Seattle Sounders, not old clubs whatsoever, very new in the football world, you could say, but both teams have certainly made quite a statement in the MLS over the last 15 years, you could say. Of course, the other game that was on tonight was a game earlier on between Columbus Crew and Atlanta United. Columbus Crew, a team, of course, that actually ended up winning the MLS Cup last season, with LAFC being the runners-up. Started their campaign today, and they started off with a flyer against Atlanta United, winning by 1-0. So just quickly going through the inaugural MLS seasons. So Seattle Sounders was actually in 2009 when they made their start to the MLS campaigns, you could say. Los Angeles was just less than 10 years in 2018. Sounders have more trophies of 8. LAFC have got 3 trophies. Sounders have 1 more MLS Cup over LAFC, as Sounders have 2 MLS Cups, while LAFC have just the 1. Well, it looks like, of course, originally we thought the kickoff would be at 9:30, but it looks as though we're coming towards 10 p.m. But the referee today is Wesley Costa, and his assistant referees are Bruno Rizzo and Miguel Upari, as the 4th official is Gabriel Chiampi. And this could be a very exciting fixture. It's mad to think that this is a first round game. Normally you'd see this game in the playoffs, which did happen last year. Last time they played each other was in the Western Conference in the semi-finals back in November. And LAFC were able to win and spoil the party in Seattle by winning there. And Seattle Sounders, well, after what happened at the end of last season, they'll certainly come to BMO Stadium with a mission under the management of Brian Schmitzer to try and actually win it in front of LAFC fans. But yes, revenge is definitely on the cards after LAFC ended their season. So we're getting ready for the kickoff. This could be a very exciting game, as I say. Hugo Lloris out on the field the first time he's playing in the BMO Stadium as an LAFC player. He's in his what looks to be fluorescent shirt with orange Adidas stripes, the traditional Adidas 3 stripes on the sleeves. And he's just getting involved in his team's huddle, his first team huddle of the season, as he now runs back to his goal. Seattle Sounders playing in their new home kit of the season. Of course, it's the usual green and blue, but what they've got this season is a blue strip coming down the front of the shirt. Of course, their shirts always known famously in the past for their Xbox 360 sponsorships. Oh, how iconic that was. So we get in ready to go, and it will be LAFC that'll kick the game off in their full black and gold kit. From right to left, they'll attack Seattle Sounders from left to right, and straight away they've gone for a deep ball into the Sounders half on the right-hand side, and it ends up just going out for a throw. And then straight away from the left-hand side of the stadium, you can hear the ultras of LAFC with their massive flags, big drum sets, making an absolute bang. We had this kind of atmosphere, didn't we, back when we did the MLS Cup final in 2022. It was an advantage for LAFC, and what a place to do it, to win their first ever MLS Cup. Gareth Bale scoring a 127-minute equaliser in extra time to take it to penalties. Well, here they come now, LAFC, and they're just trying to go through down the middle, and it was a good interception by Andrade. Andrade goes across to the near side, and then it's on to Roldan, the right winger, and instead they get pushed back by Baranga, and they'll just try and switch sides, which they do here, still inside their own half. It is a bit cloudy in Los Angeles today, 68 Fahrenheit, is the conditions right now. Sounders going for an early cross from the left-hand side. Doesn't find anyone in green, and it gets dealt with, and it's just booted out of the penalty area. And it's now onto the left-hand side with Baranga. Baranga with his brilliant boots that got him many goals last season. A top goal scorer, let's not forget, for LAFC. Not just for the club, but also in the MLS of all the teams last season. And Baranga will be hoping to start off very early with his goal tally for the season. 58 appearances before today and 41 goals in his spell with Los Angeles Football Club. And what a transfer he has been. Former Saint Etienne player. And he did score the winning goal in the playoff game against Seattle Sounders last season to deny the Sounders from reaching another MLS Cup final. Of course, LAFC did reach that final, but they lost to Columbus Crew. And they weren't able to defend their crown. Now here comes Sounders early on, and straight away it's a through on goal. And Morris, while he should have done better there, he just struck it at Lloris. And Lloris, great first impressions from him in front of his new fans, making the save. And out of all of that, LAFC come out on the attack, and it's a shot straight at the goalkeeper of Stephen Fry. And straight away, end-to-end stuff. We've not even reached 3 minutes. I'm just watching the replay again. So the Sounders, with their approach towards the LFC goal, ends up being a pass ball through. It was a poor pass, by the way, but it couldn't be dealt with by Morello. And Lloris ended up being one-on-one against Morris. And Morris, well, he just struck it straight at the Frenchman. And Morris, I'm sure, will now look at it and think he should have picked the side of the goal, because that would have made the difference. Greg Livingston says hi. Thanks, Greg. And is Campos doing good? Asks Hamada. That game's only just started, and there's a shot blocked there in the LAFC penalty area. Sounders off to quite an interesting start away from home here. Of course, we'll keep you up to date on goals coming from other games going on around the world. Newcastle United have got a goal back, but they are still trailing by 4-1. Joe Willock getting the goal on the 84th minute. Seattle Sounders now then trying to go down on the right hand side with Roldan. Now it's down to the middle, and they play it across in another long range shot from about 30 yards out. Hugo Lloris stretched out for it to his right. Not much power behind the shot, and he comfortably picked it up. So already a busy man since joining the MLS club last month. Already 2 shots to Sounders against LFC's 1, and this time Los Angeles tried to go down on the right wing. A cross coming in ended up just being cleared away at the end, looking for Baranga. And I think the Sounders defensive Andrade and Reagan are going to be quite busy today against the MLS top goal scorer. Ball's currently inside the LAFC half. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. Will it be a beautiful day for their team to try and get their first 3 points of the season? Goal kick has been given to the Sounders. LAFC attacking towards the ultra fan end, home end you could say. First goal kick of the game coming up for Sounders. But yes, we've only had 2 games in the new MLS season so far. Inter Miami beating Real Salt Lake on Thursday night, 2-0. And Columbus Crew starting off their defensive campaign against Atlanta United with a win earlier on today. 1-0 that ended, and that was Cochu Hernandez scoring the only goal of the game on the 27th minute. Meanwhile, Sounders trying to go out to the right wing instead. Morris does complete the pass, but he's told to not bother running towards goal because play has been paused. Walden is down on the ground. He's just got himself back up. But already Morris, he's had a shot on target already in this game. Morris is quite a well-known player for Seattle. He's a homegrown player as well, let's not forget, and was their top goal scorer last year with 13 goals in the MLS. So after that pause in the game, the Sounders do get a free kick here. It's about 40 yards out, and it's struck and curved into the box, and actually it could have been left for a goal kick, but maybe there wasn't much communication as the LAFC defender heads it behind for a corner. This is the first corner of the game, and it's going to be taken on the left-hand side or far side. And it's going to be taken by Roldan, and he takes it, and it's gone straight into the hands of Hugo Lloris in the 6-yard box, and he just kicks it right out of his hands to pick out Oliveira. Then Oliveira across to Baranga. Great first touch by Baranga inside the 18-yard box, and he keeps it in play. Lovely footwork. He did have to take on a long ball, which took him away from goal, but his team still have the ball. They've had to go back towards the halfway line, however. When they lost the ball, they had their backs towards goal, but they still have it, and they've decided to switch up play and to go onto the far side on the halfway line with Morello across to Long. But yes, LAFC are actually the leaders in the head-to-head between these two clubs. They've played 18 games before today against each other. Actually, we'll go back to that in a moment, because LAFC are going to go for it, go for glory from way outside the box, but it went very wide past the near post, and it'll be a Sounders goal kick. But already the early minutes of this game is just giving you that element of how tight this affair could be. As I said, there was only one goal between them in their meeting back in November when they last took on each other. But LAFC are actually 6 games unbeaten versus Seattle Sounders. And Sounders have only ever won once here at the BMO Stadium. So it's not been a very friendly place for them in the past. But could they change that today? New season, fresh start. Not just for LAFC, well, just for both teams, really. Sounders, of course, I'm sure, were gutted not to make the MLS Cup final last year, but I think they were also relieved to actually get themselves back in the playoff position after they didn't do that the season beforehand. So, long throw in to come from Sounders. Doesn't really pick up anyone that is in green and blue, and instead it's just headed away, and then it's kicked back into the LAFC box, but only for no green shirts to exist in that area, and for Hugo Lloris to go, thank you very much. No doubt the busier of the two goalkeepers so far in this game. We're only 9 minutes in. All square in this opening weekend of the new MLS season, live on Let's Talk Sport. Inter Miami the favourites to win it this year, it would seem, because of the likes of Lionel Messi and Luis Suarez in the squad under the ownership of David Beckham. But it's a long season. LAFC do play Inter Miami next in a few days' time, so the fixture's coming thick and fast. And it will be an interesting affair between LAFC and Inter Miami, and I think it will be a true test for the team in pink to just see if they really are up against the usual big clubs of the MLS to actually be able to compete. It's a good early challenge for them to try and show to us why they are being considered as the favourites. Currently with Morello. Morello pings it out to the left wing. Bogusz tries to just head it and keep it back in play. Ends up being dispossessed. And then it's gone back into their possession in their own half. Now with Long. More than 30 caps for the USA for Aaron Long. Certainly a regular face for the US MNT or US men's national team. Oh, and then there was a ball into the box and then onto the 6-yard box it went. And actually at the end, you kind of wonder if maybe Angel should have actually just tried to go for goal. He tried to play it across to his left at the end, but ended up going to no one. Goalkeeper nearly fluffed it, but then he picked it up at the end of all of that. Sounders with the ball now. One of their centre-halves, I think it was Reagan, that fouled down, and the referee gives them a free kick. Free kick already taken. Short pass out to the far side. Then back to Reagan again. Cross to his right of Andrade. Andrade just takes up a few yards in front of him with the space he has. Keeps it away on Bogusz. And then out to the left-hand side with a long ball it is now for Sounders. And instead now they'll go for across the field with Leo Chu. A lot of long ball passing so far from the visitors. And it's on the far side. But it is beautiful weather, as it normally is in Los Angeles. Seattle can be very cold at this time of year, if this game was the other way around. Of course, they will go to Seattle later on in the season, these two teams. All that looked like quite a nasty challenge from what looked to be from Hollingshead. Well, he's not having any of it from the referee. He's telling the referee he got the ball, or he's saying something, but it didn't look very nice. It looks as though it was Leo Chu, was it? Who was, yeah, it was a late challenge from Hollingshead. But I think he has been appealing to the referee, saying that he got to the ball and that it was a fair tackle. Referee, of course, disagrees. And this could be seen as a dangerous free kick for the Sounders. Hugo Lloris probably thought it might be a little bit easier going to the MLS after being in the Premier League for so many years. But already he's having to make a couple of saves here and there, some catches from set pieces, and now here he is having to deal with a free kick, and it's only 14 minutes into the new season. Anyway, the free kick goes directly towards Hugo Lloris's net, but Hugo Lloris stops it from reaching the net. I think it was Albert Rosnak that went for the strike there. Throwing for the Sounders for it to go back into their own half. Do reach out on a live chat page, folks. We'll read your messages when we can. Ends up being an interception for LAFC, and because of that, they've been able to go on a quick counter. 5 Sounders players trying to track back, and they did well there to stop a cross, but then a rebounded shot is straight at Stephen Fry. There's another long-range shot. It was a low shot at goal, and I think this time it was Bogusz again who went for the goal. But Stephen Fry, a man that will take a lot more than a long-range effort to get the ball past him. He's only the 3rd MLS goalkeeper in history since the league started in the mid-90s to record 100 or more clean sheets, and he did that during last season. 37 years old now, so he's been around the block a fair while in the world of football. From Switzerland. Yeah, 100 or more clean sheets, that's some achievement, no matter what competition you're in. Baranga then, to Angel. Oliveira, only to get his pass incomplete and lose the possession, but Baranga, his teammate, comes behind him to win it back. And it's a through ball to Angel, and he might just go for it here. It's an open goal, and it's stopped and cleared off the line. Brilliant defending. I think it was Rogan who got there at the end. And maybe he's injured from that. He might have pulled a muscle, but I'm sure it was worth it. It was a brilliant through ball, straight down the middle, got past Stefan Fry, and then he fouled when he tried to go for the ball with his left foot. Fouled to the ground. Probably should have done better and placed it better, but Sounders live on to fight another day. Only 17 minutes gone, it's already a wild start. Greg Livingston asking, when did Hugo Lloris sign for LAFC? It was last month, Greg. Back with the game then. Still all square, but both teams already showing what they're made of. Already had 5 shots on target overall in this game. 2 for LAFC, 3 for Seattle Sounders. It's with Stefan Fry, and he decides to kick the ball up in the air with his right foot, only to be intercepted from the back line of LAFC. It's with Long, across to Morello, and now to Hollingshead, who surprisingly didn't get a yellow card for that free kick he conceded earlier on. It was just a warning from the referee, but probably knows if he makes another foul it'll be at least a yellow card. Seattle Sounders now going down the right hand side, down the line, and it looks as though Morris was fouled. He was pulled down twice. Referee actually, despite being right in front of it all, has said play on. LAFC are happy with that because they've got the ball. It's now with Morello to Long. Just currently in the shadows of the stadium, they are in their own side. Most of it is pretty sunny, however, but shadows as well from the stands around them. Here comes Sounders as they enter that shadow, and it ends up being a cross into the 6-yard box, only for it to just be kicked up in the air and remaining in the 18-yard box for Hugo Lloris to just come out and pick it up. But from minute 1, you can hear the drums and the noise from the ultras of LAFC. You'll be hearing that throughout the whole game. Here they come again now, their team, hoping that they'll witness their first goal of the season from Bogusz, who starts the attack. Now with Morello. Oh, and now with Angle again. This time it just goes a bit wide, and Baranga decides to go for a shot from outside the box, but it doesn't even get into the 18-yard box because the shot was blocked. Still though, it's with the hosts on the right-hand side. Slow-paced football, and actually it was probably a bit careless really from Tillman, but he wins the ball back on the halfway line, then plays out towards the left. Now it's with Baranga. Baranga into the sunlight he goes. Bogusz, and then Baranga from the edge of the 18-yard box, only for it to go wide. Referee in his blue shirt, black shorts, pointing towards the goal to indicate it is a goal kick. There's all sorts of flags in that stand. They're behind the Seattle Sounders goal, where the LAFC fans are, as in the main ultra fans that are making the noises. All sorts of flags, and so many to look at, so much detail in the flags. course, I remember a few years ago, I mean, they call it copper, don't they, or something like that, where they put up massive flags covering the stands, covering the seats ahead of the kickoff to give, you could say, a scary welcome for their visiting teams. And I remember they had Carlos Vela, which looked to be him dressed as Indiana Jones, looking like he was going for the Holy Grail. But yes, Carlos Vela, no longer an LAFC player. Most appearances, though, for them, and record goal scorer of 86 goals, but you do feel as though Baranga might go on to beat that. And the most assists as well, Carlos Vela, 50. But what a spell he had at LAFC over the last few years. An Arsenal player, let's not forget, didn't quite work out for him in the Premier League. But you'd like to think that LAFC will be where he was best known. If you've just joined us on Let's Talk Sport, this is our first live commentary of the MLS 2024 season. This is between Los Angeles FC and Seattle Sounders. No goals to report yet, but it is end-to-end stuff. Baranga now inside the 18-yard box, and his shot actually dips and then hits the crossbar. Stayed in play, that shot, but it went out for a throw-in. I think Baranga's protesting, saying it should be a throw-in to his team, not Sounders. Was there a save from Stephen Fry? Watching the replay, it didn't look like it. It went so high, it somehow dipped enough in time to hit the crossbar, and then for the ball to stay in play just moments before it would roll out for a throw-in. Match back underway. But yes, no goals at the moment. This is the third ever match of the MLS 2024 season. Only 2 games have happened so far since the season started a few nights ago. And there's a lot more fixtures happening from tomorrow. When we get the chance, we'll go through some of those fixtures. Sounders currently in possession. It's on the far side of Roldan. There are 2 Roldan players out there. They are brothers, that's why. Both playing for their same team. And they're both playing on that right-hand side. Can't get away from each other. Referee says play on, because even though Sounders were thinking that they got a free kick, but actually they've just entered the 18-yard box down the middle. It's now out to the left-hand side. LAFC defenders trying to get in the way. Sounders can't find a chance to go for goal, and they do this time. A 20-yard effort, and it's gone out of play. It looks as though Rory Diaz is on the pitch, even though when I got given the lineups, he wasn't in it. We just had a shot there from Baranga, I think. Just goes over the target, and it's a goal kick for the Sounders. But yeah, Rory Diaz is out on the pitch. But when I was going through the starting lineups, he wasn't in it. But yes, looks as though there's a bit of a mix-up of the lineups there, folks. Sorry about that. Anyway, Sounders doing poor with their goal kick and short passes there. Well, they gave the ball away for a moment, but they won it back, and LAFC I think it's Baranga that's been penalised there for a free kick to the Sounders. Yes, Rui Diaz is out on the pitch, which you can't get the stuff these days, as you can say. But Rui Diaz, nicknamed the Flea, scored the final goal in the MLS Cup final in 2019 to bring the trophy home in front of the Seattle Residences, where they beat Toronto FC. Looked like a very cold November afternoon. They do share the same stadium as the Seattle Seahawks, which is the NFL team. Meanwhile, they're having to deal with another attack here from Los Angeles. Instead, they tried to get a pass. Baranga was trying to get a pass to Angel, but it ended up just being incomplete again. Now it's far out wide to Baranga again. Makes the cross, and there was only one LAFC player trying to approach the cross in the 6-yard box. Comes out to the near side. Sounders boot it out, and then it's picked up again by Morello in the centre circle, and he'll play it back to his new teammate of Hugo Lloris. But it is good to see Hugo Lloris get some minutes again. He was part of that France team that won the World Cup in 2018. He was the main goalkeeper, and he was also the main goalkeeper for them when they reached the World Cup final in 2022, but were cut short. They didn't get another World Cup under their belt after a penalty shootout defeat to Argentina. The Sounders now trying to go down the left-hand side and then go play it down the middle. Instead, it just got intercepted. But this really is end-to-end stuff. Both teams going for it at the start of the new season. Now with another shot, it looked like it might have been a shot. I thought maybe they'll be going for a cross there, and I think it was Bogusz who might have been going for goal himself. But goalkeeper Stefan Fry, as I keep saying, they'll have to do a lot more than that to get the ball past him. Well, it's ended at the Emirates Stadium in the final Premier League game of the day. Arsenal 4, Newcastle United 1. A big win there for the Gunners to keep themselves in the title race for another week. And there was a massive goal in the Bundesliga this evening. Harry Kane scoring on the 91st minute to get all 3 points for Bayern Munich against RB Leipzig at the Allianz Arena, after we did a watch-along yesterday of Bayer Leverkusen beating Mainz 2-1. Wasn't an easy game for either team really this weekend, but they both got 3 points, so nothing really changes at the top of the table. Still an 8-point gap. No points gap between these two in this game since the season's only just started this week. Here's Baranga, but which team could go 3 points clear from one another today? Meanwhile, LAFC trying to get that opening goal, and I think referee has actually given a corner. There was calls from Andre. He reckons he was fouled, and I think he was hoping he was going to get a free kick, but instead referee has decided to give a corner to the team in black and gold. He couldn't convince him enough, that's for sure. Still, Roldan's talking to the ref, the captain. He's not happy. They're going to have to defend this corner. I've actually already lost track how many corners LAFC have had. I think this is their first. And so the corner is taken, and another header. And this time it's hit the bar again, but it stayed in play again. Unless, no, actually I say that. The referee has said it's gone over and out for a goal kick. And it was Eli Sanchez with the header. Goalkeeper of Stefan Fry didn't move a muscle. All he could do was watch it fly above him and hope that the woodwork would get in the way, and his wish was granted. Well, Rui Diaz, actually it's a corner again. That surprised me. I didn't notice that there was a deflection. Maybe it didn't come off Sanchez after all. Another corner, it's a direct corner going into the box. No real threat this time. Sounders deal with it in the air. Referee has given a free kick to LAFC. About 40 yards from the Sounders net. Campos was the one that was fouled. Yeah, Campos completely pushed down there. Free kick taken. In the shadows again on the left-hand side. Does make it quite difficult to see when it's a player in a full black kit in the shadows. It's now on the right-hand side. Who's going to get that opening goal of the season to start off their campaign? It's with Sanchez. Now to Campos. Campos out wide to Bogusz. Now Campos again, sorry, who kept it in play, but his ball going back across just did not work out. And Baranga, as he won a corner. Referee does point towards the corner flag on the near side, and there will be another corner for LAFC. So here comes the corner, another header effort, but ends up just going wide. Actually, it stays in play. Now out to the left-hand side again. Cross to come in, and that was a late header, which ended up being a clash of heads. And that has seen one of the Seattle Sounders players go down, and the referee instantly waves his arms to the sideline to say, bring a medic out. Head collision, of course, taken very seriously in football these days. When it happens, referee always wants to see them checked out straight away. But it was a clash of heads from Morello of LAFC, who was trying to go in for it with a very late challenge, and he just completely well, you could say headbutt Paulo. Actually, it was Reagan that had gotten fouled. He's on his feet, that's the main thing. Just looking at Dennis Baranga's stats from last season: 20 goals, 7 assists, 137 shots in total, and that was enough for him to be last season's MLS Golden Boot winner. Some of the players just having a quick drinks break while they can. And I've noticed as well on the LAFC shirt, they do have a star embroidered on top of their badge. I'm sure we know that that's for their success of the 2022 MLS Cup after beating Philadelphia Union on penalties here at the BMO Stadium in November 2022, literally days before the 2022 World Cup was about to begin. And that was the last few games. That was one of Gareth Bale's last few games before he would go on to retire after representing Wales at the World Cup. And what, not a bad career, Gareth Bale. He retired before he even reached 35, which is normally the average age for a professional footballer to hang up their boots. Game's back underway, and there's a throw-in coming up for the Sounders. Sounders actually finished above LAFC in the Western Conference table. They finished second, with LAFC finishing just behind them. But last season, in terms of the table, Seattle Sounders winning 14, drew 11 and lost 9. Their away form, they actually lost 5 games, won 7 and drawn 5, while LAFC at home here at the BMO Stadium last year, after 17 games, they won 10, drew 3 and lost 4, so not too bad at home for LAFC. Oh, and it's getting a bit feisty out there, a bit more physical. Referee has given a free kick to the Sounders inside their own half. But before they can carry on, he wants to have a word with some of these players. Sanchez involved there, the captain of LAFC, who's not been booked, but clearly getting quite vocal. Then went in for a late challenge against Rogan. Eli Sanchez is actually a Spanish international. He was born in Barcelona and played 114 appearances, not for the main team, not for the first team, but for Barcelona B. This is his 91st game today for LAFC. Only the 2 goals, but of course he is a deep midfielder. Yellow card, so our first booking of the game has come to Seattle Sounders with Roldan. You could say it's quite early on, but Roldan has received a yellow card as we reach 35 minutes. Atletico Madrid couldn't get a win away from home tonight. Their game ended 2-2 away at Almeria. We got gameplay with Mars saying, come on Sounders. But yeah, do get in touch, folks. We'd love to hear from you. But it is all square. Still level, neck and neck between the 2 powerhouses of the MLS. Throw in to come for LAFC on the far side. Not a full house today in their opening game. See a few empty seats here and there in the main stands. But still a lot of noise behind the Seattle Sounders goal from the home supporters. Baranga now wins the possession back. LAFC enter the Seattle Sounders half. It's with Baranga again on the far side, and he has support with Oliveira. Oliveira cuts in, and he just couldn't keep that ball inside the 18-yard box. He'll have to try and chase the ball down again. Ends up being a throw-in for his team. Thrown to be taken in line with the edge of the 18-yard box. It's thrown backwards, and then it's onto the halfway line with Morello. Hollingshead, and they tried to play a ball down the line, only for it to just be a lost ball and out for a goal kick. Well, there have been maybe no goals, but it's been an interesting encounter so far in their 19th meeting together. Of course, MLS getting bigger and bigger each year, you'd like to think. But football is getting bigger in the United States. Some say it's overtaking baseball. I'm not really sure how you determine that. Is it attendances? Is it TV viewerships? I'm not sure, but that's what I've been hearing. Sounders now, they're going to go for it, and it ends up going wide. Did it take a deflection? No. Referee says it's a goal kick. Not quite sure who took the shot there for Sounders, but actually, just as we say that, they've won the ball back, Sounders, about 35 yards from the LAFC goal. It was a short goal kick taken, but they just lost it straight away on the far side. But it's now going to be a throw-in for the hosts. But yeah, gameplay with Mars supporting the Sounders, it looks like, when looking at the live chat. Are you from America? Do let us know, folks, on the live chat page where you're watching this game from today, or this stream from today. Back with the game, Sounders on the right-hand side with Roldan. Roldan skips and then out to his left, and he'll switch sides. About 4 passes across it takes to get to the left-hand side. And it looks as though it's going to be a throw-in. I must admit, the numbers are all a bit mixed up with the Sounders shirt. I've clearly been given the wrong lineups, as Rui Diaz was not on my sheet for the starting lineup before we started the stream. I'll have to make sure I make those changes and be correct at half time. It's with Roldan. That I know for sure is on the pitch because there's two of them, since they are both brothers. With Stefan Fry, the goalkeeper, inside the 18-yard box. And just after 2 free passes, they've got themselves out onto the right-hand side. Interesting football here from Sounders. It's nice and quick. Roldan plays out to his left to the middle of the park. Roldan again on the right-hand side, makes the cross, and then a rebounded shot is blocked, and then the ball goes behind. It's Rui Diaz who went for it, and he is a dangerous man, a player you can't leave unmarked in an 18-yard box. He picked up the cross, lost the ball because it took a deflection off his opponent. Then he won the ball back and just straight away hit the ball first time, and it was blocked, deflected, and out for a corner. About 2.5 minutes until we reach the 45th minute. LAFC 0, Seattle Sounders 0. Corner to come from the far side, and it's swung in onto the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away out to the far right-hand side. LAFC win the ball back. Instead, their clearance is poor. Roldan with the cross, takes the deflected header out of the 18-yard box again, and it's now on the far end of the pitch. But instead, LAFC can't seem to get out their own half at the moment. Oh, that was a late challenge, but referee says play on, and it happened right in front of him, so he didn't miss any of that. He saw it in great detail, but clearly either he's saying play on or he just didn't see anything in it. And the player is still down. I think it was Rusnak who went down. Interesting to see how both teams approach the second half. It's just feel as though it could be a 1-0 affair. They're both going for it. They're both playing the chess game. They're seeing gaps here and there to go for the attack. Sounders definitely not afraid playing here today. As I say, they probably have a point to prove after losing to LAFC in the playoff semi-finals. Meanwhile, can they defend this attack from LAFC? It's on the left-hand side. And now the cross goes way across face of goal, and it's a volleyed effort, and it's in. And LAFC open the scoring just at the stroke of half-time. And it's some goal as well. It's a great cross, but it's a fantastic finish. And it will be LAFC. They'll go into half-time with a smile on their faces. LAFC 1, Seattle Sounders 0. And it is Tillman who gets the opening goal. And it's only his 6th goal of his LAFC career. It all started off from the left-hand side with Campos, the left-back, ran at his man, played the cross, and Tillman just saw it coming. He went in for it, he didn't hesitate, and he hit it first time on the volley with his right foot. And that's the goal that separates the two sides. As I said, it's been very even. Both teams have been going for it. Just at the stroke of half-time as well. Well, we've gone into the 45th minute now, and 2 minutes have been added on. But the 2022 MLS Cup winners getting their first goal of the season, scored by Timothy Tillman. Looks as though Morris has been fouled, and he gets a free kick. It'll be on the right-hand side, about 20 yards into the LAFC half. And this free kick has been touched and back into play. And now LAFC find themselves up ahead with 4 against 3, but they make it 2-0 before half-time. It's Paranga, and his shot straight at Fry. It was a tight angle. He was looking at targeting the goal from the near post, really. Went with his left foot, but it would have been some delight for them to go 2-0 up at half-time, after we all thought maybe this was going to be a all-square scoreline at the halfway point. But that's football for you. Things can change in a moment, and the confidence they had there to try and make it 2-0 before half-time is scary. What a goal can do, and to lift spirits for a team. Well, the 2 minutes are up, and I think the referee is happy for that loose ball to just roll out of play, and for it to be half-time here at the BMO Stadium in what is LAFC's first game of the season, as well as Seattle Sounders. And it's LAFC that take the lead at the halfway point. A late first half goal from Timothy Tillman with a volley that separates the two sides. It's been a great end-to-end game so far, but it is LAFC that will go into the dressing room a lot happier, knowing that they go close to maybe getting 3 points to start off the campaign. As I say, LAFC 1, Seattle Sounders 0, and we'll be back at half. We'll be back for the second half commentary in just a bit, folks. So don't go anywhere. Get yourself a drink. We'll be back in about 10-15 minutes for the start of the second half. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back for our second half commentary of LAFC versus Seattle Sounders. And the second half has begun. So I don't think there's been any substitute changes during half time, but straight away LAFC going for a quick attack just 17 seconds in. And because of that threat down the left wing from Baranga, he's been able to win his team a corner. And as he walks towards the corner flag, he has a few high fives with his fans nearby, especially a few kids. Quite an experience for them to high five their club's top goal scorer from last season. You don't get to do that every day. Anyway, straight away our first corner of the second half then. It's on the far side and it's swung in again and it's headed away, and then another chance here, which is a shot from outside the box, ends up being blocked, but Sounders can't deal with it. They've ended up losing the ball and being dispossessed on the right wing. It's currently with Oliveira and then Tillman, the goal scorer, who brings in the cross. Hollingshead across to the edge of the 18-yard box of the left-hand side, and then a long-range effort, and it's hit the crossbar. What a strike that was! And after all of that, a long ball back into the 18-yard box has been picked up by Thomas. Now I do apologise, I got given a completely wrong lineups for, it looked to be Seattle Sounders, and I've got it refreshed and updated for the second half, so it should be more accurate now. It's with Thomas, the Seattle Sounders goalkeeper. Ends up with his kick going out for a throw-in, and LAFC straight away from the throw-in. Oh, the cross to face a goal. Luckily for the Sounders, it didn't reach any boot from a black and gold player. And we're only 2 minutes into the second half, but LAFC, I don't know what they've had at half time, but they are up for this. And just watching the replay back, it was Baranga who had the shot that hit the crossbar. And they've won another corner here. You could say they've had their Weetabix at half time, but determined to double the lead. Steve Trendello, who is the coach of LAFC, has been since 2022, exactly 2 years ago last month. Wonder what he said to them at half time. Here comes the corner. No threat in the air there, it's been cleared. Now on the right hand side of Atuesta. Couldn't deal with the ball against his man on the right wing. And now it's onto the halfway line and back into the Los Angeles half to Hugo Lloris. But still a few fans coming back from their half-time break, getting back into their seats. Looks like looking at the main stand. But of course, folks, if you're new here, do subscribe to not miss out on more sport watch-alongs and live streams throughout the year. We'll be doing a snooker watch-along, our first one of the new year, tomorrow when it's the Players' Championship final in Telford. I believe it's a 7 PM start. That's when we'll be live for that. Meanwhile, Seattle Sounders haven't really been able to get themselves going yet. They've had to be on the back foot, but now they can try and do something, because they're the ones that need a goal back here, as they are trailing by a goal to nil. Now on the left-hand side with Rui Diaz, he falls to the ground. No support to win the ball back there. And it's now with Morello. Morello, short pass to Tillman. Tillman out with a cross onto the middle of the park and tried to go with a quick pass out wide to Oliveira, but only for it to be intercepted. And so far at the moment, LAFC, despite them finishing below Seattle Sounders last season, they just love playing the Sounders. They've got more wins than them in their head-to-head. LAFC with 9 wins, Sounders with 5. and there's been 4 draws in the past. But as I say, Sounders' last win versus LAFC was in May 2021, which was a home game, 2-0 that ended, and the last time they won at LAFC was in an MLS playoff game in 2019, and that's the only time they've ever actually left BMO Stadium being the winners. So not a ground that has been great to them in the past. LAFC really do make this place a fortress in the MLS. If you have just joined us, folks, you missed a first half goal at the stroke of half time, which was a goal from Tillman, Timothy Tillman, which was a great volleyed goal to separate the two sides. Sounders now in the middle of the park, inside the LAFC half. Poor attempts to try and keep it in play there by, I think it was Chu who got that wrong. Gives away a throw-in. Just watching the replay back on my monitor of Baranga's strike. He decided to just pick up the pace with the ball, cut in, and then go for goal, and then it hit the crossbar. That's 3 times LAFC have hit the crossbar in this game. Visitors looking for that equaliser. Do they get a free kick out of it? A shot goes out high and wide. Referee does not track back to what looked like it might have been a foul, but referee would disagree with that claim and give the hosts a goal kick. In case you didn't know, Columbus Crew did win their game at home to Atlanta United earlier today. They beat LAFC in the MLS Cup final back in December to take the crown away from Los Angeles. So they are off to a flying start with 3 points and a win, just like Inter Miami. In terms of other fixtures coming up, there's Charlotte versus New York City tonight at half midnight. Philadelphia Union against Chicago Fire at half midnight as well. Quite a few half midnight kickoffs. 2 more to point out: Orlando City versus Montreal, and DC United versus New England Revolution. And then there's games later on in the evening at 1:30 in the morning. It's Austin versus Minnesota, St. Louis versus Real Salt Lake, and Houston Dynamo versus Sporting KC, along with FC Dallas versus San Jose. So a lot of MLS games coming up before the night is over. Actually, even more games after that. Portland Timbers play against Colorado tonight as well at 3:30. That looks to be the last game. And then there's 3 more games on Sunday. Cincinnati versus Toronto at 7:30 p.m. Nashville hosting New York Red Bulls at 10 p.m. And then LA Galaxy versus Inter Miami, which is Monday at 1:30 in the morning, which is going to be some game. But it just shows that LAFC haven't got... Sorry, LA Galaxy, that is. I thought for a moment it was LAFC. I got that completely wrong. Will Fowles watching in the stands tonight. And he's with the co-star of Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso's assistant. Funny enough, I actually saw him in Australia, in Sydney, the day after the Women's World Cup final. He was away on holiday then. The star of Ted Lasso, the main man playing Ted Lasso, is also in the stands, sitting with Will Fowle. Will Fowle feel a little bit nervous right now because a free kick comes in for Sounders, but it's comfortably picked up by Hugo Lloris. You do wonder, from a back line perspective, the experience of Hugo Lloris, being a World Cup winner and a Premier League star for Tottenham Hotspur, a lot of invaluable experience, I'm sure. Oh, and it's another shot, and it's in! And it's another fantastic goal. This time it's Bogusz who scores it. It is scintillating Lollapalazzo football, you could say. Both goals have just been brilliant. And you wonder, what does Lola Palazzo stand for? Attractive and good looking, you could say, because that was a fine goal that goes along with Timothy Tillman's first half strike. Will Fowle enjoyed that one. And wow, we're 10 minutes into the second half, and LAFC look like they're going to get their first 3 points of the season in their opening game. What a strike. And it clipped the bar for the ball to then go down and go past the goal line. Goalkeeper did dive for it, but there was just no way Thomas was going to keep that out. I could feel it from here. LAFC 2, Seattle Sounders 0. And their run continues against Seattle Sounders. It looks as though the Sounders could end up being 7 games without a win whatsoever against the black and gold. But Bogusz with an absolute strike. What a thumping kick that was. Better update the scoreline while I remember. Forgot to do that in the first half. There we go, updated for you. 2-0. 56 minutes gone. Get in touch on the live chat page, folks. Did you rate the goal? We did ask a poll at the start of the stream, and at the moment 74% of you going for LAFC, but even if you vote now, it seems like you'd be cheating. Matthias Bogusz with the goal, and this doesn't look good for the Sounders fans if they are there in the stadium today. Rui Diaz is on the pitch, well, on the grass at the moment. He is down and will have to be treated, and he's come off. He is going to come off for Mazowski. So that's him done for the day. That's our first sub of the game. And also it looks as though Baker will come on to replace, I think it's Roldan, I'm not quite sure. No, yeah, Alex Roldan will be replaced by Baker. So that's number 16, Roldan. That has gone off. And Mazowski replacing Rui Diaz, which in terms of goal threat, that's not good for the Sounders. And Mazowski, well, he was a free agency signing last at the start of this month on February 1st. 2-year contract. He's a US international at 28 years old, and he is a forward. So I'd be interested to see if he can get off the mark in his club debut. And Cody Baker, who's just come on for the Sounders as well. Young player, young prospect, 20 years old, US international, and signed the homegrown player contract. That is a thing in the MLS, and he signed it for 4 years, which was in 2023 he signed that contract. Well, we're just a minute away from reaching the hour mark. LAFC 2, Seattle Sounders 0. A first half volley from Tillman to get the ball rolling, and then in the second half, a few minutes ago, Bogusz with an absolute stunner to keep them well away from the Sounders in terms of the scoreline. But it is mad to have this as your first opening game of the season. Currently LAFC now on the attack on the left-hand side. The ball's gone in behind the defence here, and there's calls for a penalty. Referee actually waves his arm up for offside. Sounders get away with one there, you could say. Nathan has fallen to the ground in that whole process. Ooh, I don't know, that was close. Was it offside? Branger got pulled down after he was caught offside. From the angle I've just seen from the cameras, maybe he was offside. You couldn't quite tell from the pictures shown to me. But Sounders probably just got away with one there. They got in behind the defence with a through ball pass to Baranga. And as he approached the 6-yard box, I'm sure if he had another second, he would have had a shot on goal, and normally that guy will score. What can Sounders do? They've got half an hour then to try and get this game back. They've got enough time, and he's already used some substitutions, Brian Schmitzer. Settleborn himself. So of course it just shows how much this club means to him, with him being a local boy. 61 years old. This is actually his second spell as the Sounders manager, but in this second spell he's not done too badly, has he? 2 MLS Cup wins in 2016 and 2019, as well as a CONCACAF Champions League title, which was won in 2022, which isn't a very often achievement in terms of MLS involvement. CONCACAF Champions League is normally dominated by Liga MX teams, which, in case you didn't know, those are Mexican clubs in their own version of their own Premier League, you could say. So then the visitors on the hunt to get a goal back to put some stress towards LAFC. As I say that, just as they were starting the attack, the pass just ends up going loose and behind for a goal kick. Yeah, Steven Chirandello, 45 years old. This is his 95th match as LAFC boss. He actually made over 370 appearances at Hanover as a player. That was between the years of 1999 and 2014. Brilliant European experience to take with him over here in the States when he got this job back in 2022. Was a CONCACAF Gold Cup winner for his country of the USA all the way back in 2005. Hugo Lloris hasn't had much to worry about in front of his own goal in the second half so far. Here come LAFC then, middle of the park, out to the left-hand side. About 6 of them approaching the 18-yard box. They really want to go for that third goal, but the forward pass towards the penalty area is too long. Bit of a deep pass, you could say, a heavy pass, just goes out for a goal kick. But there's another substitution taking place. I think this is going to be another one for the Sounders, and Chu is coming off. And he's coming off for De La Vega. And actually it's 2 substitution. Nathan has gone off for Arriga, who is the number 3 man and is also an Ecuadorian international. So another forward substitution made with De La Vega. De La Vega plays in midfield. He's playing on the left wing, it looks like. Now, he joined in January for a club record fee of $7.5 million. So a bit of pressure on him to perform, you could say, in a Seattle Sounders shirt this season. But meanwhile, his team can't actually get out of their own box because the pressure's getting to them. That high press from LAFC. It's on the left-hand side. 2 of them waiting in the 18-yard box for maybe a delivery in. It's with Baranga. Baranga, oh, he's fallen there. And referee points towards LAFC for a throw-in. 10 yards from the corner flag on the far side. It's a short throw into Baranga. Baranga flicks it back to the throw-in taker. Then they try and get a pass out to the edge of the box, only for it to be intercepted by Sounders. And the Sounders win themselves a throw-in a few yards forward. But yeah, Pedro de la Vega joining in January. As I say, club record fee of $7.5 million, which just shows, even for a top club like Seattle Sounders with their recent success, if that's a club record fee, it just shows that the costs and prices of players that they spend in the transfer windows is nothing compared to the European leagues. So De La Vega actually trying to get himself involved very quickly. He's got a free kick to take. It's on the left-hand side inside the LAFC half. And it's obviously an indirect free kick, and he kicks that in with his right foot, only for it to just be headed out for clearance. And the referee's going to give a yellow card. And I think that's towards Reagan. No, Tolo, sorry, that is. He receives a yellow after he stopped the counter-attack of his opponents by just, well, there wasn't much in it, to be honest with you. So I can see why Tolo, in his reaction, is not happy about it. So Noho Tolo, a man who represented Cameroon at the 2022 World Cup and the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, will have to be careful for the rest of the game. That's the second yellow card for the Sounders tonight. Nothing in the book from the referee for LAFC so far. They've been clean. Free kick has been taken, and it's a long ball out to the left-hand side inside the Sounders half, and it's a foul from Campos to give away a free kick to the visitors. Sounders just don't look like a team that are going to respond so far. Since that second goal, even just the entire second half, they've just not looked up for it. Here they come now, Baranga to probably put the game to bed, and his shot is blocked. Big block that was if it's going to keep Sounders in this game. Still though, they've got to deal with this attack. It's on the left-hand side, and they do deal with it. They block it out, and they win the ball back. And now they're going to go down the middle of the park, and it's a through ball to Morris. Morris falls down in the box. Is it a penalty, ref? Referee doesn't point to the spot. Morris is back on his feet, and as you'd expect, not happy that the decision didn't go his way. And when watching the replay back, ooh, he did get tripped. It might not have been the biggest of contacts, but there was a trip, and there's another cross on the other side of the pitch, and it looked as though they were trying to pick out Bogusz, and he didn't get the connection with the low ball cross. And hopefully we can have a breather. What a crazy minute we've just had there. End-to-end stuff, both teams going for it. Seattle Sounders could have possibly had a penalty kick. Then on the other side of the pitch, the hosts could have tripled their lead. There is VAR in the MLS. Could this be rechecked? Because I honestly think Long, well, he never got the ball in my eyes. He tripped his opponent before he had contact with the ball. And as you'd expect, the match has been paused before they resume, because the referee, he's got his earpiece, his hand to his ears. VAR team getting involved for the first time today, it will look like. And I'm sure that this will be, of course, for that penalty check. Looking at that replay, though, there wasn't much. It wasn't the biggest of contacts, but I think it was enough for it to be a penalty. And the referee, now what's happening? I'm not sure. Oh no, he's going to go to the monitor. Sorry, I thought the decision had been made without him checking it. So he's going to check the monitor on the sideline. Hope you can see the screen okay. The sun is shining right at it. Normally the screen can be a lot darker when that happens. Now the question is, he does get tripped, Morris, by Long there. Morris gets tripped, and then afterwards Long gets his right foot on the ball before he fell down to the ground. But I think it's all about what happened before that, and
It's not the, as I say, there's not much contact in my eyes, but it's probably enough to be a penalty still. Because this is a big moment of the game if Sounders are going to try and come back from a 2-goal deficit. What do you think at home, folks? Do you think that's a penalty? Let us know. Well, it's taken the referee a while, and they keep showing us the same angle on repeat. So maybe he's just having to keep watching it so many times. But I always say this about VAR. If it's not that obvious after watching it a few times, maybe stick with the original decision, which in this case would obviously be a no penalty. But normally when they check VAR, they normally, as in when they check the monitors, they normally change their original decision. But you can start to hear boos at the BMO Stadium. This is taken a while. Of course, the fans at some point will want to go home. I mean, I do think this is ridiculous. If he's watching the same angles we are each time, then he should have a decision by now. How many times do you need to watch it? I do think it's a penalty, but there isn't that much content. I think that's what the referee's trying to look for here. Right, he has finally walked away from the monitor, and he points to the spot, and the Sounders have a penalty, and there is a yellow card for Long, the man who caused the penalty in the first place. Well, that review took a while. Fourth official telling the LAFC manager of Steve Chirondello, probably explaining why it was a penalty. So we've got 18 minutes plus a few minutes of added time left here. Now if Sounders can get this goal, we've got a game back on our hands. And it looks as though the new signing of Seattle Sounders, Pedro de la Vega, is going to take this. And what a start it would be for him in his new spell at Seattle Sounders by scoring on his debut. But of course, this is just to get a goal back. Pedro de la Vega versus Hugo Lloris. What do they both have in common? They are both playing their first ever game for their new clubs. So in front of the LAFC Ultras, can he score? Yes, he can. And the Ultras have gone quiet, and Pedro de la Vega fist pumps the air, high fives his teammate, and he picks up the loose ball and has taken it to the halfway line. We've got a game on our hands, folks. LAFC 2, Seattle Sounders 1 with 17 minutes to go. It was a very, he hit it down to the right-hand side. Lloris went to his right. And I remember our good friend Seb True on Let's Talk Sport said in a watch-along in the past that, well, actually we'll have to pause that for a moment, or unless, no. Oh, hang on a minute. Free kick given to LAFC, but not just that. The black and gold players are asking the referee to actually consider it being a red, because actually Tolo's already got a yellow card as well, let's not forget. Yeah, he went in there. He did get the ball, but I think it's the follow-through that was dangerous, and that's why the referee has given the hosts a free kick here. I think some of the players think they should have been given a second yellow if he's given them a free kick, which would mean Sounders would be down to 10 men in their pursuit of trying to get this game back to 2-2. He got the ball first. It was the follow through though. I think that's obviously why the referee gave them the free kick, but I think maybe it would have been harsh if it was a booking, because he did kind of get it right. Anyway, free kick to come. Poor one. Only ended up bouncing twice before it went out of play. Reached no one there. And the goal kick is taken. The win probability at the moment is 85.1% towards LAFC. Sounders, of course, if they want to win the game, they need to score 2 more goals, which the penalty did kind of come out of nowhere. Because, I'll be honest with you, it's been all LAFC since half-time. But that's why we love football. As I said, it just takes a moment to change things. So here they come now, the team in green and blue. Trying to silence the ultras again if they can score in front of them. They're in the midway point of the LAFC half, in the middle of the park. Goes out to Pedro de la Vega, who scored on his debut from the penalty spot. He cuts in from left to right, then decides to play it out wide to Tolo. Tolo to Reagan. And Tencio just keeps it away from Baranga. He does really well to shield the ball there. Now it's onto the right wing. A low ball crossing, finds no one in green and blue, but they go for another effort, but this time it's over the crossbar. And it was Roldan with a right foot effort. Probably put his foot too under the ball there. Scooped it up too high. It's a short goal kick taken by Lloris. Onto the far side. Back to Lloris. Lloris surrounded by a couple of his opponents there. But got it out of the danger zone. Now with Baranga. 5 of them going up top into the Seattle Sounders half. Baranga again to Otiesta. Now with Campos. The shade has started to invade more of the pitch since we've been here at the start of the game. The sunlight mainly just on the far side now, as the sun, of course, starts to slowly come in for the night. But can the sun stay shining on LAFC to get their first 3 points of their new campaign? Throw-in to come. No goals to really report on from anywhere else in the world. It seems as though probably at this time of day, especially in England, there won't be any games on. Outside the UK, of course, there is the MLS here. Plenty of MLS games coming up throughout the weekend. If you needed more of your MLS fix. Next games are coming on tomorrow, well, later tonight at midnight UK time, including Charlotte and New York City, and Orlando City versus Montreal. LAFC, though, currently, if you just joined us, LAFC were 2-0 up. A first half goal and then a second half goal. Ended up now only being a 1-goal lead after a penalty was scored a few minutes ago from Pedro de la Vega. And right now they're just, between now and the end of the game, it's all about, can Sounders get that equaliser? They'll take a draw when you look at, as I say earlier, when you look at the recent history of their trips to the BMO Stadium. It's now on the left-hand side. Ball down the line for the Sounders. And their attack momentum has gone because Pedro de la Vega has been told off by the ref for causing a foul. And it'll be a free kick for LAFC, which for them they'll be delighted with, as it will kill a bit more time. Hugo Lloris will come out of his area to take this. Just hearing that referee's whistle, is that signs for a substitution? Looking at the stats though, pretty even in terms of shots on target. 7 for LAFC, Sounders just one behind that with 6 shots on target. That free kick has just been taken by Lloris. Referee awards a throw in to LAFC. Throwing is now taken with Artesta, who picks up the throw to complete the pass. Bogusz, who scored the second goal. If you haven't seen the goal yet, do go on Twitter or YouTube. It's an absolute cracking goal. Now on the far side, where Baranga does brilliantly with a bit of 1-2 against his opponent. Oh, his pass though wasn't great to try and pick out Eli. Just realised we've only seen we haven't seen a substitution at all from the hosts yet, unless I missed any, but there's been 4 for Sounders. It's probably fair to say that Trendello is quite happy with his current lineup, and probably confident to keep them all on for the whole 90 minutes. But it just shows the last few minutes, Pedro de la Vega going down for a run on the left-hand side, then cutting in, but his pass through the middle was a heavy pass. But just a bit more spark just because of him coming on. Brian Schmitzer will be hoping that every penny of that $7.5 million was worth it come later on in the season. Doesn't sound like a lot when you think of it in football, but obviously in the MLS the transfer fees are a lot less than what you see in Europe with Man United, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, you name it. Free kick for Sounders in their own half. It's taken on the near side. They've played it back towards their midway point of their own half, only for it to go back in the sunlight area on the far side, where I'm hoping a lot of those fans have got shades or caps throughout this game, otherwise they wouldn't have had a great vision of this match. It's now with Vargas to Tolu. Some would say Tolu should have had a second yellow, but instead it was no booking, and that's why Sounders are still on the pitch with 11 men. Now on the right wing, Walden. Instead it's dispossessed by Long, and it's gone out for a throw, but we're going to have our first substitution from the black and gold, and it's Palencia who's going to come on for Oliveira. 14 replacing 13. Palencia, same spelling as Valencia but with a P. But yeah, Sergei Palencia, he was the number 30, wore the number 30 shirt, but now he's changed to number 14. And he actually signed last year, reuniting with his ex-Saint Etienne teammate of Baranga. 35 appearances he made last year. Now Sounders, and it's a shot from the edge of the box straight at Hugo Lloris. That'll count as a shot on target, and it was Vargas that went for the chance with his right boot, but he did curve it a little, but Lloris, as you'd expect, positioned nicely to deal with the danger, and his goal kick out of his hands was brilliantly distributed out into the Seattle Sounders half. On the near side it is now, trying to play the ball down the line, but linesman saw the, looks as though from his angle he reckons the ball went out for a throw-in, and as you'd expect, Brian Schmitzer, the Seattle Sounders manager, on his feet, looking very smart in his suit today and wearing a green tie, blue jacket, white shirt and blue trousers, suited and booted for the opening weekend of the season. But I don't know why, it is always refreshing to hear a manager being from the city. You don't hear that enough in football anymore. But his team at the moment, Schmitzer's team, are in trouble. It's now a counter-attack for LAFC. And they're going to win a corner. Referee, I think, has given them a corner. As Baranga yet again, very dangerous down on the left side. Maybe he could have played a pass across. He did have two men to his right that were making a run into the box, but at the same time it was good defending by Baker. Ateresta off to the corner flag to take this corner in his Adidas boots. Red and black boots, very nice. Some of his teammates went fluorescent boots in the box, and it was a dangerous free corner, but Thomas was well prepared and knew exactly where that ball was landing as he picked it up. It's gone out into Lloris. Looked a bit nervous there to make the clearance, but he did it just before Morris would go and intercept it. And there's going to be another sub. Ateresta, who just took that corner, has just made his last kick of the game, and he is to be replaced by Ordaz. Budielio Rodriguez. That's a second substitution. Nathan Ordaz, who's from Mexico, 20 years old, homegrown. He's registered as homegrown. Of course, that is the rules in MLS. They've got to have a few homegrown players, and he's one of them. But he's already made 24 appearances and has 2 goals to his name. Fair to say he's settling in well at the top level of US football. 3 minutes to go then. LAFC currently are going to start the season with a win. Seattle Sounders aiming to just avoid that first defeat. And Seattle Sounders at this moment in time are going to start the season as they ended it with a defeat to LAFC. It's with their back line of Arriga. Onto the right back of Baker. Now it's entered the box on the right hand side. And then the cross comes in. No one there. It comes out to the far left. Vargas with Antencio. And a good headed clearance there from Long. Long has to be careful though, as he does have a yellow card already now in this game. Ball back in the centre circle with Sounders in control. They do have some away supporters here today who would enjoy their trip home with at least a point. Hollingshead for LAFC. There's a foul. Is that? Yep, that's against Tillman. And that's a yellow card for him. And I'm just wondering from the announcer, is that a substitution coming up, or is that just something else? I'm not quite sure. Not seeing anyone on the sidelines. I must say, you guys have been quiet in the live chat page in the second half. Love to hear from you. Patrick back with the game, and Baranga, he goes in there and he hits the side netting. Was there a corner? Was there last touch off a Sounders player? Actually, it doesn't matter because the linesman has waved his flag for offside. Whatever the outcome from that, it wouldn't have counted. Just watching he wasn't offside. Baranga was in. So I think if they had carried on with Baranga and he had scored, maybe it would have been given, because of course we know there's VAR in this. VAR has been in the MLS for a few years now. It's not a new thing in America. Well, we're a few seconds away from the 90. How much added time is that fourth official going to give us? Sounders would love to see a lot more minutes given here. 6 minutes. The board is up. 6 minutes the Sounders have got. .360 seconds they've got to just save that point. De La Vega, great pace to just keep the possession. He went from the left-hand side up to the far side. And now a shot at goal, but it's far out, and Hugo Lloris gets down to the ground and makes the save. And they're getting a bit confident now, the ultras behind Hugo Lloris. I'm sure Lloris has enjoyed that experience, being in that side of the pitch this afternoon. Massive, massive flag up at the moment from LAFC fans, covering the entire stand. Absolutely brilliant atmosphere. But it's not over yet. Sounders with a long and heavy ball ending up being a dead ball, and it's straight to Hugo Lloris. But I think it's fair to say LAFC will be expected to be making a threat towards the MLS Cup again this season. Finished third, actually finished a place behind Sounders in the Western Conference last year, but they got further than Sounders in the MLS Cup. Finished 4 points behind the leaders of St. Louis. St. Louis actually play later tonight at home to Real Salt Lake. Real Salt Lake have already played a game in the MLS. They played in the opener back on Thursday, in which they lost their opener to Inter Miami away from home. 2-0 that ended for David Beckham's club. It's going to be a substitution again for LAFC. Hollingshead goes off, that's him done for the game. And Eddie Seguero has come on, which is a defensive move. And anyway, a cross in from Sounders. And there's no connection there at the end. It looked as though Riga went up there to try and, actually no, it was Morris, sorry, the forward. He went for the header on the edge of the 6-yard box. The ball's probably just a little too high for him. Yes, Eddie Seguero's just come on, the Colombian international. Got a lot of Colombian players in this meeting today for both home and away. Goal kick taken by Lloris. Lloris hoping to start off his new club with a win. Is there going to be a free kick? Yes, referee gives a free kick to LAFC. Around 30 yards out in the middle. Vargas, the man with the foul. Free kick is taken. They didn't decide to go directly into the box. It was a short pass to the right, and then they tried to play it in, but it was quite a comfortable set piece to deal with for the visitors. Less than 2 minutes left of stoppage time. If you didn't know, it was 6 minutes like they gave us, and we're 94.5 minutes in. Currently LAFC with the ball. They're going to play it back to Lloris, and I'll tell you what, that pass back to Lloris was nearly too short of a pass, and Lloris might have been in trouble there, as they were chasing the ball down, but Lloris beat them to it. Well, this could be the last chance for Seattle Sounders. It's with Origa, with Vargas now. He's He's got his back towards the LAFC goal because he's being chased from behind. Shields the ball though, and now Sounders down the middle to De La Vega. De La Vega doesn't complete the pass. It's kicked away from him, but it's still with Sounders. They'll just have to try and make up the odds again. And the referee has, well, he's paused the game. I'm just not sure. I think he's actually given a free kick to the leaders here. Tolu's still on the ground after that. Probably in it from his body language, he thought he had won a free kick there and maybe set up a last-ditch chance to save this game. But instead, the LAFC crowds are getting louder and louder. More and more confident now they are, I think, to come out of their shell, to believe that their team is going to start off with a win. Larice, a long kick as you'd expect, to just keep it well away from his goal, and that's a great control ball from their forward line of what looked to have been Palencia. No, it was Ordaz actually. Oh, De La Vega, lovely skill, but he's in the wrong half right now. But he does a great switch of play out to the far side with a long ball pass. Well, we've reached the 96th minute. We've gone over it. Deep ball into the LAFC half. Still, it's headed away, and I think that's it. I don't think the referee's going to allow them to attack again. And it has reached full time here. And just like these two teams did last season in the playoffs, LAFC come out on top. Seattle Sounders start off the season like they ended last season, with defeat to Los Angeles FC. And yet again, only a goal that separates the two teams. And it will be 3 points for the black and gold, as Seattle Sounders will travel home with no points in their first defeat of the season in their opening game. So yet again, LAFC, for 7 games in a row now, are unbeaten against the Sounders. And the Sounders just don't like coming to the BMO Stadium. Still just that one win in their whole time that they've been here. And the last win here was in 2019. So 2 goals from LAFC. Bogusz making it 2-0 in this second half with an absolute stunning goal from outside the box, which was after Tillman scored on the volley at the stroke of half-time. We did get a penalty scored by De La Vega on his debut for Seattle Sounders, but it just proved to be a consolation goal. So smiles all around at the BMO Stadium. LAFC off to a flying start. 3 points for them. They join Columbus Crew and Inter Miami with 3 points so far this season. So confirmation then, it has ended LAFC 2, Seattle Sounders 1. And that comes to the end of our live stream. So thank you very much for joining us tonight for our first commentary in the MLS of 2024. It's been an absolute pleasure. We'll be aiming to try and do more and more of these throughout the year as we go on. And of course, let me just quickly go through which teams they've got next, LAFC. So LAFC and Seattle Sounders, who have they got next in the campaign? Let's just have a look. So LAFC will travel to Real Salt Lake a week today, as they are playing at 7 p.m. UK time, while Seattle Sounders are at home for the first time this season on what looks to be Sunday early hours at 3:30 against Austin FC. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow on Let's Talk Sport for a live watch-along of the World Snooker Tour Players' Championship final in Telford. I don't know who made the final. It was decided tonight, but you'll get more details tomorrow with the stream set up later on tomorrow. And of course, if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and give us a like, and we'll see you very soon on Let's Talk Sport. So delight for LAFC, a great start for them as they continue as they are by being the powerhouses over Seattle Sounders. Sounders
Well, they may have ended it badly to start off the season, but of course, plenty of football to come. And maybe, just maybe, LAFC are a team for Inter Miami to be aware of throughout the year. Anyway, it's good night for me, and see you soon on Let's Talk Sport. Good night.